Welcome to I Love Asian Dramas. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe to the channel to get notified when new videos are uploaded. The title of this Chinese historical romance drama is Love and Strife from Aichi with 24 episodes. The story begins with Su Chuan gradually approaching Crown Prince Jiang Yunsheng to seek his assistance. Yunsheng instructs his subordinate to guide the emperor to him within 15 minutes. However, Chuan, heavily intoxicated, behaves inappropriately toward him. When the emperor arrives, visibly angry, Yunsheng manages to calm him down by stating that Chuan had been drugged, a claim confirmed by the physician. Consort Shu remarks that it is disgraceful for them to have consummated their marriage without a contract. To resolve the matter, the emperor grants them a marriage. Yunsheng informs Lord Jiang that, about 3 days earlier, Miss Shen Yuan discovered Consort Shu's intention to marry Jiang Yunhao to Su Chuan. Aware that Miss Shen would likely harm Chuan, Yunsheng also realizes that Miss Shen didn't anticipate Chuan scheming for an intimate relationship with him. Knowing Miss Shen's plan to disrupt the marriage, Yunsheng decides to go along with it and ultimately sees Chuan as the ideal crown princess for the Eastern Palace. While Lord Jiang understands Yunsheng's intentions and wants to act quickly, Yunsheng insists that now is not the right time. Haunted by memories of her family's tragic fate, Chuan resolves to investigate who is behind their downfall. A prisoner discloses to Yunsheng that Guaheng directed him to conceal evidence of the Grand Preceptor's treachery at Zhao Mansion. The prisoner is taken aback to see Yunsheng standing and walking unassisted. Yunsheng instructs Lord Jiang to interrogate the prisoner and to send an impersonator to his eldest brother. Meanwhile, Chuan conducts her own secret investigation into Yunsheng's background, suspecting his involvement in her family's calamity. On her wedding night, she is ambushed by an unknown assassin, but Yunsheng, disguised as a masked man, comes to her rescue. Lord Jiang later reveals that his eldest brother was behind the assassination attempt. Yunsheng visits Chuan, pretending to be unwell. He offers her wine, and after just one sip, she becomes inebriated and falls asleep. Now the crown princess, Chuan is summoned by Consort Shu to the palace for questioning about the assassination attempt during her wedding, framed as a matter of palace protocol. Chuan cleverly deflects punishment by asserting that only her in-laws can discipline her, leading to Consort Shu's failed attempts at punishment and an eventual apology. After some time, Yunsheng and Chuan visit the emperor, who presents her with gifts customary for a new daughter-in-law. He reminisces about Yunsheng's late mother, prompting his son to promise to visit her grave. Consort Shu and her son, Prince Jiang Yunhao, discuss the recent assassination, pleased that the emperor dismissed the incident, suggesting their standing remains favorable in his eyes. Meanwhile, Xueping informs Yunsheng that Chuan is moving her musical instruments to a neighboring courtyard that he had provided for her. Yunsheng has begun to doubt the true nature of his wife and has made up his mind to pay her a visit. Yunsheng was eager to satisfy his curiosity about the contents of the mysterious box. To keep the weapons hidden from him, Chuan played the seductive wife while Su Zhu discreetly concealed the weapons from Yunsheng's view. Their intimate moment was abruptly interrupted when Xueping informed the crown prince of Lord Jiang's arrival. Lord Jiang presented the records of those responsible for the upcoming imperial examination. Aware that his eldest brother would meddle in the examination process, Yunsheng decided to bide his time, knowing that they had to strike decisively while others might also possess the same records. Meanwhile, Chuan was sharpening her martial arts skills. She approached her Uncle Lu, requesting a colorless and tasteless slow-acting drug intended for the crown prince. Chuan's sinister plan would only come to fruition once she became pregnant with the crown prince child, and her uncle consented to prepare the drug for her. Driven by a desire for revenge against the crown prince, whom she believed was responsible for her family's tragic downfall. After some time, Chuan also prepared a tonic for Yunsheng, who hesitated to consume it. Disguised as a masked man, Yunsheng visited Chuan and proposed his assistance in eliminating the crown prince or even the entire royal family, a claim that Chuan found hard to believe. After a kiss, she pushed him away, unaware that the man behind the mask was, in fact, her husband. Meanwhile, Prince Yunhao grew furious upon learning about the crown prince and crown princess's seemingly healthy relationship, but Miss Shen soothed him with sweet words to calm his temper. Chuyun offered her husband a nourishing soup, which Yunsheng was reluctant to drink. He then invited her to leave the palace, to which she happily agreed. Outside, Chuyun reveled in the lively streets, reminiscent of her hometown, while Yunsheng promised to take her to the border one day. True to his predictions, news broke that the details of the imperial examination had been leaked, with some parties having already purchased the answers. Following his instincts, Yunsheng instructed his men to monitor Jiang Yunma and Jiang Yunhao for possible involvement in this underhanded scheme. Consort Shu convinced Prince Yunhao that he should get rid of the eldest prince, convinced that the crown prince would never manage to take the throne. Minister Guoheng then proposed that Yunsheng serve as the chief examiner for the upcoming spring examination. Although Prince Yunhao objected, the emperor firmly decided on Yunsheng's appointment. Consort Shu cautioned her son to pause their plans, growing suspicious of the unfolding situation. Chuyun, concerned about the potential ramifications for the crown prince, instructed Su Zhu to uncover who had orchestrated Yunsheng's elevation to chief examiner. Driven by the desire to conceive a child and set her revenge in motion for her family's tragic fate, Chuyun seduced her husband to further her plans. She tasked Su Zhu with gathering evidence related to the illegal activities surrounding the imperial examination, aiming to bolster the crown prince's reputation while also benefiting her own position. Still wary about the identity of the masked man, who she suspected might be her husband, Chuyun continued her investigation through Su Zhu. Uncle Lu delivered the toxic substance to Chuyun, indicating that she would soon introduce him to the crown prince as his doctor. The masked man confronted Chuyun, discovering the toxic substance in her possession. He inquired about her intended target, but Chuyun countered by demanding to know his true identity. He refused to unveil himself, returning the toxic substance to her before making his exit. Chuyun introduces Uncle Lu to the crown prince, but she feels a twinge of disappointment because Yunsheng is reluctant to address his leg injury. She confides in Uncle Lu about her concerns that her husband may not actually have a problem, and he agrees that further examination is necessary. To test Yunsheng's leg, Chuyun intentionally spills some porridge, yet he behaves as if everything is fine. Later, she sneaks into the kitchen and adds a colorless substance to Yunsheng's food. Consort Shu informs the emperor that the crown prince's health is improving, to which the emperor replies that while his son is making some progress, he still lacks the maturity and experience needed for his duties. Chuyun serves the tainted food to Yunsheng, but fortunately for him, he doesn't end up eating it thanks to a planned mishap that he anticipated. His loyal servant, the chef, had seen Chuyun tampering with the food and alerted Yunsheng to her scheming intentions. Xue Ping warns Yunsheng that they must stop the crown princess, but he brushes aside the concern. Chuyun senses that Yunsheng is aware of her plan yet chooses to play along, deepening her curiosity about him. The masked man appears and cautions Chuyun that she may be seeking revenge on the wrong person, urging her to give him more time since the crown prince is only trying to protect her. Not convinced, Chuyun walks away. Meanwhile, Lord Jiang and Xue Ping rejoice over someone quietly completing their investigation, unaware that it is actually Chuyun. Yunsheng reports to the emperor about Minister Guoheng's leak regarding the imperial examination, presenting solid evidence that leads to punishments for those involved. Consort Shu, putting on an act, pleads with the emperor not to punish her son, and he readily agrees. However, Consort Shu's true intention unfolds as she asks for the punishment to fall on the eldest son instead, masquerading her request with concern for the emperor's health. As Chuyun observes public sentiment, she notices a shift. The people have turned against the eldest prince, while the third prince escapes harsh consequences due to the emperor's favoritism towards Consort Shu. In a moment of calm resolve, Chuyun decides to dig deeper into the tragic fate of her family. While investigating, she stumbles upon the masked man's belongings in Yunsheng's room, realizing that her husband is indeed the masked figure she has been trying to understand. Yunsheng admitted that his legs were fine, but he needed to continue pretending otherwise to settle a few matters. However, Chun confronted him in anger for the devastation he had caused to her entire family. Fortunately, her anger subsided when Yunsheng presented her with her mother's pendant and a letter from her father. They reconciled when he reassured her that her parents were safe and in hiding, cautioning her that it wasn't the right moment to visit them to ensure their continued safety. The emperor was searching for Yunsheng during a meeting with the ministers. Intentionally, Yunsheng skipped the meeting, stirring rumors that he was undergoing treatment from a renowned doctor for his legs, as he planned to announce that he would soon be physically fit again. When he finally appeared at the meeting without a wheelchair, shock rippled through the room. Prince Yunhao, displeased by Yunsheng's newfound health, was left in a sour mood. Consort Shu urged her son to leverage his wife's family connections, and he agreed to the plan. Meanwhile, the entire household of the Ministry of Revenue was terminated, and the imperial treasury faced a robbery, infuriating the emperor, who demanded punishment for the culprits. Yunsheng received an imperial decree assigning him the investigation into the missing silver from the treasury. This revelation made Chun realize it was clearly a setup to frame Yunsheng, but he had already anticipated that Prince Yunhao would resort to such schemes. Thrilled, Yunsheng joined forces with Chuyun to investigate the case. Yunsheng and his subordinates scratched their heads, puzzled about the whereabouts of the missing silver. Despite their thorough investigation, they were unable to find any leads. Meanwhile, Chuyun obtained a copy of the military pay distribution register. Her investigation revealed that the missing silver was being used to frame her family, making it seem as though the Su family was attempting to win over the army and incite rebellion. To support their investigation, Chuyun prepared Yunsheng to disguise himself as a woman. They sought to borrow money from a private bank but were turned down. Consequently, someone took the bait they had set, offering them information on where to secure a loan. They journeyed to a location to borrow money from a lender, with collateral exchanged for the funds. Shortly after, they were blindfolded and taken to a secretive place to keep the underground organization's location hidden. There, they witnessed a man in distress, and after saving him, they learned that he was trapped in a cycle of debt, unable to keep up with the rising interest rates. This realization struck Chuyun. The underground bank was clearly a deceitful trap for its debtors. Later at home, the couple devised a strategy, agreeing that they shouldn't rush to arrest the underground bank operatives, which could alert the mastermind behind the organization. As they brainstormed, their conversation turned sweet, leading to a tender moment between them. Miss Shen extended an invitation to Chuyun for the Earth Worship Festival banquet, which Chuyun gladly accepted. At the third prince's mansion, the daughter of Deputy Minister Qiao insulted Chuyun, the crown princess, and this infuriated Chuyun, prompting her to put the girl in her place. After the scuffle, Chuyun needed to change out of her wet clothes, but while she was in the side chamber reserved for guests, Prince Yunhao made an inappropriate appearance. Luckily, his actions were interrupted by Miss Shen, his consort. The mansion soon descended into chaos, as everyone realized that both the crown princess and the third princess consort were missing. It was later revealed that the daughter of Deputy Minister Qiao had struck an arrangement with Yunsheng, who had instructed her to follow Prince Yunhao's commands and, at critical junctures, to remember whom she truly served. During the emperor's investigation, she informed him that it was Miss Shen who had directed her to take Chuyun to a secluded location to tarnish her reputation. Consequently, the emperor ordered Prince Yunhao to be temporarily confined in the palace as punishment. Yunsheng stormed into Prince Yunhao's mansion, ostensibly searching for the missing crown princess, but in reality, he was hunting for evidence of Prince Yunhao's wrongdoings. Fortunately, Lord Jiang uncovered some crucial information. At a ministerial assembly, Yunsheng reported to the emperor that Prince Yunhao had embezzled funds from the Ministry of Revenue for personal gain, raised troops, and plotted rebellion. He presented irrefutable evidence against the third prince, leading to Prince Yunhao accepting his punishment. Chuan and Miss Shen arrived in the court session hall just in time, where Chuan revealed the true account book related to the Ministry of Revenue's silver case. She uncovered correspondence linked to an underground bank, exposing that both Yunsheng and Chuan had cleverly planted the evidence at Prince Yunhao's mansion as part of their meticulous plan. After receiving an imperial decree, Prince Yunhao and Miss Shen were ordered to reflect on their misdeeds within the confines of their residence. Meanwhile, ministers chatted about how the crown prince had managed to dismantle all the underground banks and eliminate them. In a twist of fate, Yunsheng and Chuan were attacked by unknown assassins, but thankfully escaped unharmed. Yunsheng speculated that the assassins may have been a test sent by the emperor. On a different note, the emperor noticed Consort Shu weeping, but as soon as she saw him, she switched to a pitiful act, prompting the emperor to comfort her. Yunsheng suddenly fell gravely ill, and the doctor diagnosed him with leprosy. However, Chuan sought the opinion of Uncle Lu, who sensed something was off despite the leprosy-like symptoms. This prompted Uncle Lu to dig deeper into the matter. Chuan worried for Yunsheng, compelling her to confess her real feelings for her husband. The physician eventually revealed to Chuan that Yunsheng was not suffering from leprosy but had been poisoned. In a fit of anger, Chuan confronted Consort Shu, demanding the antidote. Consort Shu vehemently denied her accusations. Just in time, the emperor promised to provide the antidote and subsequently confined Consort Shu to the cold palace. It became evident that Yunsheng had inflicted this harm upon himself to thwart Consort Shu's rise to power once again. Lord Jiang expressed deep concern over Yunsheng's reckless actions, unaware that Chuan had overheard their private conversation. Yunsheng apologizes to Chuan for not sharing his plans with her, and after some time, she accepts his apology. In a secret visit, Miss Shen asks Chuan for a favor, to spare her family, and reveals that her husband is plotting a rebellion against the emperor. Taking this to heart, Chuan informs Yunsheng. He then instructs Xue Ping to get their men ready. Upon arriving at the palace, they find Prince Yunhao in tears, claiming he is responsible for his mother's death. However, Yunsheng brushes him off and walks away, only to be taken aback when he discovers the emperor lying unconscious on the floor. Prince Yunhao tries to frame Yunsheng for the emperor's death in a bid to seize the throne. Both Yunsheng and Chuan find themselves captured, but they manage to escape. During their flight, they come across Consort Shu and realize the emperor is alive. Consort Shu's true nature is revealed as she admits publicly to orchestrating the death of Yunsheng's mother, the empress. It turns out she is the mastermind behind the rebellion, having carefully executed her plans at every turn. Fortunately, Yunsheng and Chuan successfully evade her henchmen. As Yunsheng and Chuan battle for their lives against Consort Shu's forces, Yunsheng makes a heart-wrenching decision to let Chuan escape. A confrontation ensues between him and Prince Yunhao, but they are interrupted by Chuan and her allies, who help thwart Consort Shu's rebellion plans. In the aftermath, the emperor decides to punish them by stripping them of their titles, condemning them to the life of commoners, and confining them to the estate indefinitely. Just as Consort Shu attempts to harm Chuan, Yunsheng acts just in time to thwart her plan. Eventually, the emperor confesses to being responsible for the destruction of the Su family, which deeply upsets Chuan. In her anger, she withholds the antidote needed by the emperor, leading to his demise. Yunsheng tells Chuan that the choice to stay or leave the palace rests with her, leaving her in a state of conflict. As Yunsheng drowns his sorrows in alcohol, he is shocked the next morning to find that Chuan has chosen to remain, revealing that she is expecting their child. Overjoyed, Yunsheng embraces the news, and the series concludes with them ascending as the new emperor and empress of the dynasty. Hello! Feel free to check out another video or subscribe to my channel, and if you enjoyed the video, Please remember to like and drop a comment below. Thanks a bunch for tuning in.